Welcome to QQ Trips, your ultimate guide to the world's most fascinating destinations. I'm Q, and today we embark on a journey to two of the most awe-inspiring lands on Earth, Nepal and Tibet. Let's start with Nepal, a country that seems to have been handcrafted by the gods. Nestled between India and China, Nepal is home to 8 of the world's 10 tallest peaks, including the crown jewel, Mount Everest. But there's more to Nepal than its natural beauty. This is a land where spiritual essence and adventure collide. In Kathmandu, you'll find ancient temples like Pashupatinath, where the scent of incense mingles with the hum of prayers. And in the bustling streets, you'll hear stories of the legendary Gurkhas, Nepal's fearless warriors who fought with unparalleled bravery during the British colonial era. I met a group of Sherpas who shared their tales of guiding climbers up Everest. Their strength and humanity are awe-inspiring. Nepal's people are its true treasure, welcoming, resilient, and deeply connected to their roots. From Nepal, we journey to Tibet, the roof of the world. This mystical land, with its high-altitude plains and ancient monasteries, feel like stepping into a dream. Tibet has always been a beacon of spiritual essence, deeply tied to Buddhism and the teaching of the Dalai Lama. Born in 1935 in the small village of Taktster, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama has been a symbol of peace and resilience for decades. As he once said, "Our prime purpose in this life is to help others, and if you can't help them, at least don't harm them." His wisdom echoes through the centuries of Tibetan teachings. In 1950, Maoist Chinese invasion and the Dalai Lama escape into the exile in 1959. The Tibetan uprising of 1959 was a pivotal moment in history. The people of Tibet stood against China's oppressive regime, but their efforts were met with brutal force. Thousands lost their lives, and Dalai Lama fled to India, where he continues to advocate for his people. And let's not forget the food. Tibetan momos, thukpa, and the infamous butter tea, it's an acquired taste. In the heart of Nepal, nestled among the Verdes, the Pema Tsal Sake Monastic Institute. This institution was made for refugees from Tibet that fled Tibet back in the Mao era and settled in Nepal. Today, we will dive in deep this beautiful sanctuary of learning and spirituality. It's not just a place of worship, but a beacon of hope, resilience, and cultural preservation for the Tibetan community. To truly understand the significance of the Pema Tsal Sake Monastic Institute, we must travel back to the early 20th century, at a time when political traumas shook the foundation of Tibetan society. Following the Chinese invasion of Tibet in 1950, thousands of Tibetans were forced to flee their homeland. Among them were monks, scholars, and lay people who carried with them centuries of rich cultural heritage, yearning for safety and the freedom to practice their faith. In this era, the seeds of the Pema Tsal Sake Monastic Institute were grown. In 1992, a group of dedicated Tibetan monks and lay community members gathered, driven by a desire to rebuild their spiritual home and to preserve their teachings and traditions. Pema Tsal Sake Monastic Institute was officially established in 1997. Its name, Pema Tsal Sake, translates to the lotus of wisdom, symbolizing purity, enlightenment, and the blossoming of knowledge in the whole world packed with adversity. As grassroots activism started to accumulate, over time, the Institute expanded to include prayer halls, classrooms, and living quarters, which is the forefront of the Tibetan culture.
And every volume would take around 7 months, as he said, and the master says, a year approximately to study. More?
In Tibet, to study the whole teaching of Buddha, to study these 300 volumes, it will take minimum 25 years.
25 years.
Maximum 30 years, the Dalai Lama said. One has to spend half of your life simply on study.
Wow.
So the Dalai Lama said, these monks have 3 responsibilities in their life. First and the foremost is to study from the book, listen from the teacher. So one should not believe what is written in the textbook. One should not believe what your teacher taught you. The second responsibility for the monks and nuns is to contemplate, is to reflect on this teaching, how much it is making sense to you. So debate, the dialectic is the most important way of learning the Buddha's teaching. Raise question. Whatever makes sense to you. Now finally, you do meditation. Meditation is the last part of the Buddha's teaching. So study, read, think, meditate. This object in English called thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt represents compassion.
Compassion.
Compassion means a sense of concern for others' well-being, respecting others' life, or so-called altruistic intention. So compassion is must to achieve enlightenment or to achieve ultimate happiness. Without compassion, it is impossible to achieve ultimate happiness and enlightenment. So this is a male aspect. Always hold on the right hand. And then compassion alone is not enough. One must have this bell. The bell represents wisdom. Wisdom here in Buddhism means emptiness. Understanding emptiness nature of reality. Nothing exists of its own. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. It does not mean you are not exist, the house is not exist. Emptiness actually means absence of independent existence. Absence of independent existence is called emptiness. You and I, since from a birth, we strongly believe I exist.
Through the lens of their teachings, they emphasized compassion, mindfulness, and the importance of community, all critical tenets of Tibetan Buddhism. The Institute quickly became not just a monastic center, but also a hub for cultural and spiritual education, attracting students from various backgrounds. Moreover, Pema Tsal Sake plays a vital role in the preservation of Tibetan art forms, music, and dance, ensuring that these centuries-old traditions are not lost to time. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. Let Nepal and Tibet remind us of the power of the human spirit and the importance of preserving our world's culture heritage. If you loved this adventure, hit a like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow explorers. Stay tuned for more stories of wonder and discovery right here on QQ Trips. Until next time, keep traveling, keep learning, and keep living fully.